Hi everybody, a very warm welcome to thorough newspaper analysis for the 12th of April 2024. Now let's quickly proceed and have a look at the pointers of discussion for today. So first of all, we have the editorial segment. So here we've taken up an Indian Express article for discussion. The title of this article is K. Kavitha's bail plea, it is rejected. So what did the court say on PMLA's bail concession for women? Now, this particular article is with respect to the rejection of bail plea, which was put forth by K. Kavitha. She is, behind the bars because of her alleged involvement in the Delhi excise scam. A couple of days back, we did an article on PMLA, the act itself, and how it came about, what is the stringent bail condition here. Today, we have a look at the same section, which is section number 45 of this 2002 Act. And we have a look at, what is the concession which is available for women and what did the court say while rejecting Kavitha's bail plea. Secondly, we talk about the news updates for the day, and this is going to be followed by the last segment of legal news. So without further ado, let's start with the article. The title of this article is K. Kavitha's bail plea is rejected. What did the court say on PMLA's bail condition or concession for women? So let's start with the context of this article, and then we get into the legal technicalities with respect to this topic. So this happened on 8th of April, which was Monday, when the trial court, it denied interim bail to Bharat Rashtra Samiti, which is the BRS leader K. Kavitha in Delhi excise scam case. In doing so, the judge concerned of this case, which is Kaveri Baveja, she said that the key exception in the bail provisions of PMLA, which allows bail for women, it is not obligatory or mandatory for the court to follow. So essentially, the court had said on Monday that the concession for bail to women, which is available in this particular act, it is not mandatory and it is obligatory. Therefore, the judge or the court concerned has a discretion to exercise, and while exercising the judicious discretion, the court can decide whether to grant bail to the woman concerned or not. So we'll have a look at why Kavitha, a woman, was denied bail, and what did the court, Delhi High Court, say in one of its earlier decision with respect to the concession of bail conditions which is given to women. What are the tests laid down? So let's see the law and the exception, and for that we have a look at section 45 of the PMLA. So essentially, this we've already discussed. Section 45, it provides for bail on money laundering charge. So if a person is, charged with the offense of money laundering, so for the bail conditions, the section concerned here is section 45. This provision in the law, like the stringent bail standard which is available in the UAPA, it puts the onus on the accused to prove that there is no prima facie case against them while seeking bail. So essentially, in this particular case, the onus to prove that there is no prima facie case against the accused and that the accused is not going to commit further offense if enlarged on bail. These two conditions, the onus of proving that is on the accused. Let's read the bare provision of section 45, clause 1, subsection 1. So subsection 1 reads as follows. See, no person who is accused of an offense under the PMLA shall be released on bail or on bond unless these two conditions are satisfied. What are these two conditions? First, the PP, which is the public prosecutor, he has been given an opportunity to oppose the application for such release. So the PP has been given an opportunity that you may oppose the application for your release, for the release of the accused. So the PP is given an opportunity, the PP comes, opposes the bail application of the accused. Now see, where the PP opposes the bail application, but the court is not convinced and the court is rather satisfied that there are reasonable grounds for believing that the accused is not guilty of such offense and that accused is not likely to commit any offense while he is released on bail. So what has happened? First, the PP is given an opportunity of being heard for the purpose of opposing the bail application of the accused. Once PP is heard, the court is not satisfied by the arguments of the PP and court sees two things. What are those? that there is no prima facie case against the accused. That is to say, the court is satisfied that there are reasonable grounds for the court to believe that the accused is not guilty of the offense. And secondly, that if released on bail, the accused is not likely to commit any offense while on bail. However, there is a concession which is given to certain categories of persons. What is that? Let's see the exception. So there is a crucial exception on the bail standard. What is that exception? The provision, it itself states that provided that a person who is under the age of 16 years, or a woman, or a sick, or an infirm, these four categories of persons, they may be released on bail if the special court so directs. So the special court is given a discretion that if you're so direct, then such persons, they may be enlarged on bail. Now, this exception, it is similar to the exceptions that we see in our, other criminal laws as well, with respect to minor and women. So let's now see what is the legal precedent in this regard. That is to say, what has been the judicial outlook about releasing a woman on bail under the PMLA using this provision? How has the courts responded in the past? And for that, we have a look at a Delhi High Court verdict of last year. So last year, in 2023, the Delhi High Court granted bail to a 49-year-old woman named Preeti Chandra. She is wife of Sanjay Chandra, who was the director of Messrs Unitech Group. And the court underlined the exception which is available for women under the PMLA while granting this bail. Now, in Preeti Chandra's case also, the ED, like it argued in Kavitha's case as well, made an argument that the accused was not a household lady. So here essentially the ED was the Enforcement Directorate. It was trying to put forth an argument that, okay, we understand there is an exception for women, but we need to also, keep note of this one thing, that the lady which was accused in this particular case, Preeti Chandra, she's not a house lady. That is to say, she's an educated woman. She's a businesswoman. She's an empowered person, so to say. So therefore, we cannot consider her as somebody who may be vulnerable or a household lady. This was the argument of ED. Now, with respect to this argument, the High Court said that the PMLA, or the Constitution rather for that purpose, does not make a distinction between a house lady or a businesswoman or a political figure. In the Constitution of India, in the PMLA, all the women, they are considered at the same pedestal. It does not matter whether a woman is a house lady, or a household lady, or a businesswoman, or a political figure. This was the High Court's observation. So thus, the High Court stated that thus to argue what kind of women is entitled to fall within the proviso of Section 45, subsection 1 of the PMLA, by creating an ad hoc illusionary subclassification of, why subclassification? Because classification is women, right? Now, within women, if we are classifying, let's say, educated women, business women, women belonging to high social strata, within the broader classification of women, as sought to be done by the respondent ED, then that is misconceived. This is what the Delhi High Court said. However, the court added a qualifier here that the accused cannot be a flight risk or cannot tamper with witnesses to be eligible for bail. But so the Delhi High Court rejected the sub-classification advanced by the ED. However, the Delhi High Court did make, note of this one thing, that let's say if a woman is influential enough that she is a flight risk, that is to say that, she is having the potential to evade the process of law later if she's enlarged on bail, and she can, there is a flight risk, or if she is influential enough to tamper with the witnesses, to dissuade the witnesses from disclosing the facts before the law enforcement agency, then that factor, of course, should be considered. Now, let's see what went in Kavitha's case. So here, the counsel representing her was Senior Advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi. He relied on the Delhi High Court ruling, and he argued that his client was entitled to interim bail. Judge Baveja observed that Kavitha, she is well educated, she is well placed woman in the society, and could not be considered a vulnerable woman for the purposes of exception under PMLA. So we can see that the judge's outlook to a certain extent is similar to the arguments that ED advanced here, And the court is saying that Kavitha, she's a well-educated woman. She's, well-placed in the society. And we cannot say that, she's a vulnerable woman for the purposes of the exception of this act. The judge relied on the qualifiers which were mentioned in Priti Chand's case. What were the qualifiers? This, that, the woman should not be a flight risk. She should not be in a position to tamper with witnesses. So that is what the court said. The court relied on these qualifiers, the three conditions when bail can be denied to women, even if Section 45 itself provides an exception for such bail. What is the triple test? It is that the woman should not be a flight risk. She should not be in a position to tamper with the evidence. She should not be in a position to influence the witnesses. In this regard, the judge observed, and I would like to quote it, that Kavitha not only engaged in destruction of the material evidence by formatting her phones before she joined the investigation, but she has also been instrumental in influencing the witnesses, and there is every likelihood of her continuing to do so if she is granted bail. So observing that the three-pronged tests, it is not met with by the accused concerned here, therefore the bail was denied. And now we proceed to the next segment of national news. So this is the first update here. India secures second overseas port, and this is Sittwe agreement approved by Ministry of External Affairs. Now, please understand, India, in this particular update, as per it, has now acquired or, secured its second overseas port, which is a port which is outside India. Which one is the first one? That we'll see later. So, in a strategic move to bolster its maritime presence and enhance its regional connectivity, India has gained operational controls over a port in Myanmar. What is the name of this port? It is Sittwe Port. And where is it located? Its location? It is in Myanmar. And this has come after the approval from Ministry of External Affairs. This port, it is essentially a deep water port which was constructed back in 2016. And it is in a place which is called Sittwe, which is capital of a state in Myanmar. This agreement, what does it do? It allows India Ports Global Limited, which is a company fully owned by the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. It allows this company to manage the entire port on the Kaland River, marking India's second overseas port acquisition after Chabar in Iran. So the first port which was acquired in this regard was Chabar, which is in Iran. Let's see the details of this agreement. So first is that we are going to get full operational control. So unlike the limited control over the terminals that we have in Iran, India now possesses complete operational authority over Sittwe Port. This is a long-term lease, and every 3 years there is a period of renewal. This deal, who is going to be the concerned company here? So it is India Ports Global Limited, which is a subsidiary of the Sagarmala Development Company Limited under the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. Chandrayaan-3 mission, it is awarded. The Indian Space Research Organization's mission called Chandrayaan-3 and the team which is involved, it has been awarded the 2024 John L. Jack Swigert Jr. Award for Space Exploration by the US-based Space Foundation. This award, it is a prestigious award in the field. It is given to recognize the remarkable achievement of a space agency, of a space company or consortium in the realm of space exploration and discovery. So please remember, Chandrayaan-3 mission of ISRO and the scientists and the team involved here, they've been awarded this particular award. Next up is an update in the category of awards and sports. So Sri Lankan cricketer and England's cricketer, they have been respectively awarded with the ICC Men and Women Player of the Year Award, Player of the Month Award. So the International Cricket Council, it has named Sri Lankan cricketer Kamindu Mendis as the ICC Men's Player of the Month for March 2024. Please remember this name. The concerned cricketer is Sri Lankan cricketer Kamindu Mendis. He's been awarded what? The ICC Men's Player of the Month for March of 2024. As far as the women's category is concerned, the award, it is on the women's side. it is given to England's Maia Bouchier. She's been awarded with the ICC Women's Player of the Month for the month of March. Sam Pitroda's new book, which is called The Idea of Democracy, it is launched. Renowned author Sam Pitroda, he has written a new book. The title of that is The Idea of Democracy. Now, this book, it explores the current state of democracy and its potential challenges in a couple of countries like India and the US. GAIL wins 15th CIDC Vishwakarma Award for Barauni Guwahati pipeline. GAIL India Limited, it has been honored with the prestigious 15th CIDC Vishwakarma Award, and this is an achievement award for best construction projects. So this is in the category of achievement award for best construction project for its remarkable accomplishment in the Barauni Guwahati natural gas pipeline project. So you may keep a note of the award category, then for what project this award was given, and to what PSU or what company. Indian Coast Guard, it inaugurates Aquatic Center in Tamil Nadu. The Indian Coast Guard Director General Rakesh Pal, you may also keep a note of the DG name. So Indian Coast Guard Director General is Rakesh Pal. He inaugurated the Indian Coast Guard Aquatic Center at ICGS Mandapam near Rameshwaram in Tamil Nadu. This is a part of his 4-day visit to the Maritime Forces base in Tamil Nadu in Andhra Pradesh and Puducherry. Center appoints Manoj Panda as the new Finance Commission member. The appointment of Mr. Manoj, it fills a vacancy in the 16th Finance Commission, now allowing it to commence its duties. Let's talk about the 16th Finance Commission, the timeline of it. So the 16th Finance Commission, it is expected to submit its report by October 31st of next year, outlining financial recommendations for the upcoming 5-year period starting April 1st, 2026. Tata's military-grade satellite successfully placed into orbit. India's first military-grade geospatial satellite, which is manufactured in the private sector, it has been successfully launched and placed in the orbit with full functionality expected to be achieved within a range of few months. Innovative election initiative, Punjab launches Booth Rabta website. So we've been looking at a series of efforts by the Election Commission to, facilitate transparent and inclusive voting process this time around in the Lok Sabha election of 2024. And this is another step in that series. So in an innovative move, which is aimed at enhancing voter engagement and accessibility to the election-related information, Punjab's Malerkotla district, it has introduced the Booth Rabta website. It is spearheaded by election officer and Deputy Commissioner Dr. Pallavi. This platform, it is accessible via this website. It serves as a comprehensive resource hub for voters and polling personnel alike. Simon Harris, he becomes Ireland's new Prime Minister. Simon Harris, he is aged 37. He's been elected as Ireland's youngest ever Prime Minister, and he succeeded Leo Varadkar, who resigned last year. First, US, Japan, Philippines summit to boost defense ties. Leaders from Japan and Philippines, they are set to meet in Washington for a trilateral summit which is aimed at strengthening defense ties. This follows recent military drills in the South China Sea involving the US, Japan, the Philippines, and Australia, which drew criticism from Beijing, China. And this is brought us to the legal update segment for today, with the first update coming from the Supreme Court in the case of Khengarbai Lakhabai Dambala versus the state of Gujarat. Let's talk about this verdict. So the Supreme Court here has held that candidates need not disclose every movable property which is owned by them. Voters' right to know, it is not absolute. So the Supreme Court has stated that only those movable assets which are of high value and the assets which reflect a luxurious lifestyle, they need to be disclosed by the candidate while they file their nominations for the election. Candidates who are contesting elections, they are not required to disclose each and every movable property which they own or their dependents unless they are of substantial value and they reflect upon the luxury and the lifestyle standard that the candidate possesses and owns. Next up is another update from the Supreme Court in the case of Chandan versus the state Delhi administration. So here the Supreme Court has said motive is insignificant when there is direct evidence proving the guilt of the accused. So the court here said, while upholding accused conviction for committing a daylight murder, the apex court held that if there is a direct ocular evidence, by ocular we mean, let's say if there is, somebody who saw the crime happening, there is an eyewitness. So if there is a direct ocular piece of evidence which inspires the confidence of the court, then the motive behind the commission of the offense, it would be of little relevance and the prosecution need not prove the motive of the accused in the commission of the crime. Why? Because the other ingredients, which are essential ingredients for the offense of, let's say, murder, when they are already established by virtue of the, piece of evidence which was advanced by an eyewitness, then the motive becomes irrelevant. The Supreme Court said in this regard that lack or absence of motive on part of the accused, it is inconsequential when direct evidence itself has, it has itself established the crime. So then your motive becomes irrelevant. Next up is another update from the apex court itself. Every non-disclosure by candidate, it won't make nomination invalid unless it is substantially affecting the election outcome. So the Supreme Court has said that every defect in a nomination which is filed by a candidate who is contesting an election, it will not make the nomination invalid. Only defects which are substantial in nature, which can impact the outcome of the election, they will render the nomination invalid. Every non-disclosure, irrespective of its gravity and impact, it would not automatically amount to a defect of substantial nature. This is more or less not connected to this case, but this is, how we operate in, let's say, CPC also, where we say, that procedure it is handmaid of justice, and any procedural lapse, which is, let's say, maybe not of any significant relevance, it may be condoned for the ends of justice and for substantial justice. So similarly, the court has said that if there is a defect which is not of substantial nature in the nomination filing, then that defect, it can be overlooked. By overlooked, I mean that, it will not vitiate the entire candidatureship of the candidate concerned. The name of this case is Kho Curry versus Nune Tyang. Next up is an update from the Bombay High Court in the case of Nitin Gajendra Gupta versus Deputy Collector Mumbai and others. So here the Bombay High Court recently observed that the Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and of Citizens Act of 2007, this act, it cannot be used as a machinery for settling property disputes between the heirs of senior citizens. The court, observed or made this observation while dealing with a writ petition by a man who challenged the order of the tribunal which is constituted under 2007 Act, nullifying various gift deeds executed by his senior citizen father in his favor. So here the court said that the objective of section 23 subsection 1 of the 2007 Act, it is to ensure basic amenities for citizen. It is not to nullify valid transfers. So with this, we come to an end of our TNA. In case you want to get access to the free study material that LawSikho curates or the TNA slides that have been used in this video, I would highly encourage all of you to join our Telegram channel. And for doing that, you can click on the link which is given in the description or scan the barcode here. Now, these are the point of contacts in case you want to get in touch with LawSikho. Thank you for being with us and have a wonderful day ahead.